Good evening, everyone. My name is Danielle Phillips, and I want you to take a moment and think about a precious little infant and how you want to make sure that that infant has the very best start in life, and that as healthcare professionals, we recommend the very best for them. And we have to take into consideration, we know that there are two things that we can feed infants: breast milk and formula. Now, historically, breast milk has been promoted as the very best to feed an infant nutritional wise. And then formula developed from women not wanting to breastfeed their children, and that began with wet nurses back in even into biblical days. It is documented, and these women would feed other women's infants for them. And then scientifically, they began promoting alternative uses of supplemental milk, such as cow's milk or goat's milk. And then in the 20th century, we have women beginning using evaporated milk and powdered forms of milk, such as those produced by Nestle. Now, these products were unregulated by the healthcare community, and so that's when the health doctors and nurses and people in the healthcare community stepped in to create regulations for formula so that there were vitamins and minerals necessary for infant growth. Now, in 1981, globally, the World Health Organization stepped up and began promoting breastfeeding and coined the term breast is best. And this was developed because there is a decline in women breastfeeding. Now, in the 21st century, we have to take into consideration the fact of maternal mental health and that there are barriers to breastfeeding. So sometimes what may be recommended may not be best overall. Current practice of breastfeeding tells us that breast milk is still nutritionally the best. It is also has passive immunity, decreases the obesity rate, and also reduces asthma, along with other various health benefits to breastfeeding. There are also the fact that formula contributes to obesity, type 2 diabetes, and also atopy. And for mothers, it reduces the risk of breast cancer, postpartum depression, and type 2 diabetes. And then the campaign for promoting breastfeeding by healthcare professionals stemmed because of a decline in nearly every mother breastfeeding at the beginning of the 20th century to our current rates, as noted as by the CDC in the map that you see, that nearly 60 to 70% in the state of Virginia breastfeed their infant at some point in the first 12 months of their lives. For current research in maternal health, there are perinatal mood and anxiety disorders. Now, these mood and anxiety disorders can contribute to women not wanting to admit that they struggle with breastfeeding and may need help. Mothers are afraid to take medications for these disorders because they don't want to pass the medication through their breast milk to their infants. It also can create the fact that because they might, for some reason, unable, because of barriers to breastfeeding, be able to feed their infant breast milk. And there's a shame and stigma out there that if you don't feed your child breast milk, that you're a bad parent. And so this calls into question if the big push for promoting that breast is best for every individual is necessary because of maternal mental health. And then we have a systematic review that shows us the barriers to it and that women are needing to return to work. And because if they don't work, then they can't support their family or their children. They have a lack of a social support system to help them along with their infant. It also takes a lot of time to breastfeed. So what if women don't have the time to pump while they're at work? And then some women think that they have an insufficient supply. And then there are also medical problems that women can have and that enables them that they can't breastfeed. And so this all ties back into the fact that if they can't breastfeed, then they might end up with a perinatal mood and anxiety disorder and feeling shamed because of that. Now, my recommendations are to continue to promote breastfeeding through 6 months, but also to develop a system to assess for barriers to breastfeeding that was recommended in the systematic review of barriers to breastfeeding, that if we assess each person individually, then we can eliminate the barriers and create a better life instead of breast is best, then maybe should be considering the term fed is best.